Have you ever received advice from someone that you thought was less than qualified? Like nowadays, everyone's an expert. Everyone has all the answers. There's so many people that's studied different fields, and they come on television. They have this professional advice. What about that advice you hear from like one of your friends or your spouse or a family member? And you're like, man, what you know? What do you know? You don't know nothing about what I'm talking about. What qualifications do you have to say what you're saying? Is there something that qualifies you to be able to speak on what I'm going through? And when I think about that type of attitude, I think about Simon, what went through his mind when Jesus came to him after he had been fishing. Him and his crew had been fishing in the boat and caught nothing. And Jesus asked him to cast his net into the deep. If he took the stance that some of us may take, Jesus was a carpenter, Simon was a fisherman, and the rest of his, what later became Jesus's disciples, they were also fishermen. If they'd have been like, Jesus, we saw what you did, you healed the many, we saw what you've done so far, we heard your teachings, but you're a carpenter. We're the fishermen. We're supposed to know what we're doing. We've been out here trying to catch fish all day and we came up with nothing. But you know what? Peter decided, or Simon Peter, he decided to switch his way of thinking. He's like, we've been out here fishing all day. We haven't caught anything. But because you say so, we'll cast it. And what happened? They caught more fish than they could handle. They caught so much fish that the nets were breaking apart, they were bursting apart, and they needed help from the other men on the boat to help them catch. All that Simon Peter obediently cast his net into the deep and caught. What am I saying to you? There are people around you right now that are giving you nuggets, they're giving you advice, they're giving you certain things, but we're disqualifying them. I'm speaking to myself as well. We're disqualifying some of them because they don't have the credentials. They don't have the letters next to their name. They don't have the experience that we feel that they may have. So we may be inclined to kind of shoo them away like, hey, thank you for your advice, and just leave it as is. Never get too prideful. Never feel as though you know it all, because there's somebody next to you and they were placed by God. They're sitting next to you. They're interacting with you in your life right now, and they have the answers to the questions that you keep praying about. But the problem is that we're thinking that it's going to come a specific way, and when it doesn't come a specific way, or if we don't hear an audible voice from God, then we start to question how he's sending the answers to our prayer. We gotta be able to sit down and say, God, this advice that I've gotten, I don't know about it, but can you show me that this person may be what you're giving me the answer to? Is it possible that we're overlooking blessings because we're looking at it to come a specific way? Let's be like Simon Peter. We've been out here fishing for answers all day, but the solution is in the one who sent the people that are continually giving you the same answers over and over again, and you're not even willing to give it a try because you're the expert. You're the fisherman. You're the carpenter. I don't need your help. But do you? Are you willing to accept the help that you've been praying for, that has come your way, but it doesn't look like what you think it is? It doesn't look like what you thought it would be. So now you're disqualifying it based upon what you deem to be qualifications. But what we know about the God that we serve, he doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And he's calling you, and he's answering your prayer. But it just doesn't look like the way that you thought it would be. So cast your net into the deep. You've been fishing all night. You didn't catch anything yet. But I guarantee you, if you cast that net into the deep right where God wants you to cast it, you'll catch more fish. And in that parable, or in that passage, Jesus was showing them just as I've taught you or showed you how you can catch fish, now you'll be fishers of men. So now, once you obey what God is doing in your life right now, where he's asking you to, I know this is uncomfortable, I know you've done this already, but do it my way where I want you to do it. Now I'll show you how to show others me. Will you obey? Or will we continually do what we've been doing, expecting different results? Your choice.